What's up everyone, welcome back to the Beginner Breakdown series for KoF XIV. In this episode I'm going to go over Clark. If you've never seen a beginner breakdown before, this video series is intended more for beginners or players who are just trying to learn the basics of a character. And with that, let's get started. Let's go over far normals first. Here's light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Far light punch is a mid. We block both crouching or standing. One thing to note though is that this whiffs on pretty much all crouches in the game unless they're a big bodied character. So you see right there. It's a little bit plus on a block and you can super and special cancel it. For light kick is a mid, we block both crouching or standing. It's plus on block and you can only super cancel it. For heavy punch is a mid, and we block both crouching or standing. It whiffs on pretty much all crouches in the game, unfortunately. Except for big bodied characters. It's negative on block and you can super cancel it. For heavy kick is another mid, we block both crouching or standing. It whiffs on pretty much everybody who's crouching in the entire game. So you probably won't be sticking this out to poke. It's a bit negative and you can only super cancel it. It's an okay anti-air if you throw it out preemptively. Next up we got close normals. Slight punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Close light punch is a mid. We block both crouching or standing. It's a little bit negative on block and you can super and special cancel it. Close light kick is another mid. It's a little bit negative on block and you can super and special cancel it. Close heavy punch is another mid. We block both crouching or standing. It's even on a block. On the first hit you can super or special cancel it. On the second hit you cannot special cancel it, but you can super cancel. Close heavy kick is a mid. It whiffs on crouchers, pretty much every croucher in the game. It's pretty negative on block, so if the opponent does stand block it, it is pretty negative. So it does have that special property that it goes over lows. But there is some landing recovery. Let's go over crouching buttons next. Here's light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Crouching light punch is a mid. We block both crouching or standing. It's a little bit plus on block, and you can super and special cancel into whatever you like. And you cannot chain these. I don't even think you can link them together. Crouching light kick is a low, can only be blocked crouching. It's a little bit more plus on block than light punch, and it's super and special cancelable. And you can chain these. You can chain up to 3 in a row from point blank. Crouching heavy punch is a mid. We block both crouching or standing. It's a little bit negative on block. Has pretty good range on it. And it's super and special cancelable. Crouching heavy kick is a low. Can only be blocked crouching. It's Clark sweep. It's a bit negative on block. I think it's safe in most situations. And you can super and special cancel if you want to try to make it safer. Next up we got jumping buttons. Here's jumping light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Jumping light punch and heavy kick are your kind of standard jump in buttons. You can convert off of them as long as you time it right. Jumping light kick and heavy punch are more horizontal attack buttons, so if the opponent is crouching, they're not really great jump buttons. They tend to whiff. They're pretty alright air to airs though. As far as short hopping goes, you'll either be using light punch, just because it's consistent, or you can also use heavy kick. You just want to be careful with heavy kick. The hitbox on it isn't really like at his foot, it's more like around his thigh. Yeah, as you see right there, they hit it kind of like low as you're on your way down. And then Clark's jumping blowback attack, which you can execute by hitting heavy punch and heavy kick while you're in the air. This right there. It's pretty average. It has good range on it. It doesn't whiff on crouchers. You can short hop with it. You can jump in with it regularly. And like all jumping blowback attacks there, it is plus on block. Let's go over Clark's command normals. He has 2. The first one is forward and light kick. This boot right here. It takes a long time to start up, but it is an overhead. So you can open up somebody who's crouch blocking lock with this. It's only a little bit negative on block. I don't think it's punishable. You don't get anything off of it raw, other than super. You can also use this command normal to max mode cancel. And then from that you can convert that into, bigger damage. You can't use this to combo just because the startup is too long. You could try to use it in block strings to see if the opponent is sleeping or not. So if they're not paying attention, you could maybe do something like this and then not that. Kind of like that. So that you can cancel like the first hit of close heavy punch into that. there is a gap there. So if the opponent's mashing, they'll just hit you out of it. Then Clark has another command normal. It's forward and both kicks. This step right there. So this is a movement option Clark has for him to move horizontally across the screen really quickly, because it's just regular walk speed's pretty slow. As far as I know, there's no recovery on it either, like in terms of when he lands, but he's vulnerable while he's moving forward. I think it's considered a special move because he can cancel some of his normals into it. For example, like that. Because of this, you can try to do some shenanigans and see if they work on your opponent. So stuff like that could be possible. If you see them blocking, you could try to close the distance with by canceling your last normal in part of a block string, and then you're up close, and then you can see if you can grab them with your command grab. A Clark's blowback attack, which you can execute by hitting heavy punch and heavy kick while you're on the ground. This right here has a lot of startup. It might have more startup than the average blowback attack on the ground. It's safe on block. If you happen to land this blowback attack, you could wait a little bit and then cancel into his run. Not that long though. You also have enough time to do something like that. Get a couple hops in if you cancel it right away. Next up we got Clark's special moves. This first one is a half circle forward plus punch, and it has a few follow-ups. So the light punch and the heavy punch version are the same thing. He'll run across the screen, and he won't stop until he touches the opponent, and then he'll do the grab. He's completely vulnerable while you're running forward though, and you really can't stop him either. And it is not a command grab, it is a hit, so it can be blocked. And then same goes for the EX, they're all hits. With that out of the way, let's go over the follow-ups. So if you land that running grab, one thing you can do is hit down, down, and light punch after he grabs them. He'll do that little toss, and then it just ends that chain completely. Next sequence you can do is down, down, and heavy punch instead. And then it has a follow-up after that as well, a third input. And it's core circle forward plus punch. The whole thing will look like that. And then that leaves you a little bit closer to the opponent, and it gives you more time to run in and continue some pressure, some command grab shenanigans. It also does a little bit more damage than the just down, down light punch. The third and final sequence is just hitting down, down plus kick. And that sends them really far away, as you see. And you kind of lose your screen positioning, so if you had them in the corner, you kind of throw them out of the corner. But it does do the most damage. As far as EX goes, they have the exact same inputs. They just do a bit more damage. And the same things apply that I've already talked about to EX. And the damage is adjusted too, so that gator roll still does the most damage in EX. The only way to reliably combo into these if you wanted to is from anything with a lot of hit stun. So like the first hit of close heavy punch, and then you can do any of the follow-ups after that. Only EX could you combo off of lights just because it's so quick. So this special move has that property where it can grab opponents out of the air. And that makes the EX one the most useful because it's the quickest one, and it keeps that same property where it grabs them out of the air. And because it has that property, I think it's best to use this as part of longer combos that you might be learning. I would just probably ignore this special move unless you're using the EX one or comboing in from, you know, a heavy button. Use his other command grab. It's less inputs, you're less likely to mess it up. And the other command grab also does more damage, I believe, anyway. And there's nothing tricky about these special moves, they're all mids, to be blocked both crouching or standing. Next special move Clark has is half circle forward plus kick. This move right here, it's his other command grab. He has two versions of it. The light kick version of it has a ton of startup on it, and then the heavy kick version is very fast. And the EX version of it is also incredibly fast. Use the heavy kick version in you can use it as part of combos, and you can combo into it from anything really, as long as you're within range of the command grab. So for example, like that won't work, but so like stuff like that works as long as you're close enough. You can easily get off of heavy buttons as well. If you land either of the two regular command grabs, there's a follow-up. So for either the light kick version or the heavy kick version of it, you just input cortical forward and punch. You input it around the time when he slams him to the ground. And then of course you input the cortical forward from like the opposite direction you started in. You can try using the delayed version, the light kick version of it, to kind of see if your opponent is paying attention. You make them block something and then you delay just a moment and then do the command. They'll be out of blocks and you'll grab them. Kind of like that. You might be able to do it a tiny bit quicker than that. If I try doing the exact same thing with the quicker one, it'll just whiff because it's so quick. The EX version of this is also really quick, like I mentioned before, and it puts them into a juggle state right there where they bounce up off the ground. And of course you can do any of the follow-ups after that. And I think that's really the easiest thing you can get that's very reliable, at least at low level, off of the EX version of the command grab. So these are command grabs, they're real command grabs, and they can be comboed into. So there's no block in them. Next special move Clark has is a mash attack. So you just mash punch, and then you get that. And that's the regular version of it, and there's an EX version of it as well. And that was it right there. The EX version is a little bit quicker and does more damage as well. So there's only two versions. There's the regular version and the EX version, and they're both even on block. They can be pretty easy combo enders if you don't really know what to do. You can just kind of mash, and it'll land, and it's safe on block as well. You can super cancel them as well, but I don't think you really get anything from them unless you cancel into Climax. And only if you cancel early, at least on mid-screen. So mid-screen that whiffs because they're too far away, and that was 5 hits, and I just canceled from close heavy punch. As you see right there, if I cancel on the 4th hit, or in other words, the 3rd hit of the special move, I was able to land that mid-screen. In the corner, however, it doesn't matter. So something you could easily combo into like that. You'll get less hits though the further you are from the opponent. So you can get off of low hits on attacks or high hits on attacks. As you see right there with the EX one, it leaves them standing. Probably don't need to learn this at low level. You can link that command grab super if you're close enough after you land the EX Gatling gun punch. And there's nothing tricky about these special moves. They're meant to be blocked both crouching or standing. Next special move Clark has is a charge move. It's a charge back move and then plus punch. That move right there. So that's a light punch version of it. It's 2 hits. It has kind of limited range, but it's pretty quick. And then the heavy punch version is 3 hits. It does more damage. Also has a follow-up right there. If you input forward, down, down, forward, and punch, on the last hit you'll jump up in the air and grab them. And there's the EX version of it. Does the most damage. And the light punch version does the least amount of damage. The heavy punch somewhere in the middle. The light punch version of this special move and the EX version of it have pretty similar startups. And because of that, they're pretty easy combo tools. So they're easy to get off of things with a lot of hits on them, provided you have the charge for it. And stuff like that is possible as well. And same goes for the EX. If you land the light punch version of this or the heavy punch version of it, and you have EX meter to spend, because they're in a juggle state, you can grab them with the EX running grab. You can also super cancel these special moves. But you don't really get much of it from the light punch version of it mid-screen. But if you cancel it in the corner, you get a Climax super. If you land the heavy punch version of it, you can super cancel that as well. But like I said, mid-screen don't get much because they're airborne. Unless you cancel right there. If you cancel on the second hit of that heavy punch version, they're still grounded, which allows you to do that command grab super. You can also do that running grab super as well. If you land the EX version of it, if you combo into it or just land it in general, you have enough time to charge and then land a light punch version of that attack as well. The light punch version of this is negative on block. It's pretty punishable. The heavy punch version of it is even more negative and very easily punishable. The EX version of it is at least negative. It's very difficult to punish. And there's nothing tricky about these special moves. They're all mids and can be blocked both crouching or standing. Let's go over supers next. His first one is half circle back twice plus punch. You can really annoy the opponent with how long that super takes to complete. And that is a command grab. If you wanted to really annoy him, you could land the EX version of it. It takes even longer. And that is also a command grab. His next super is half circle forward twice plus kick. So that is a command grab as well, but you do notice that Clark has to run forward a little bit before he grabs them, whereas the other command grab super I showed you is incredibly quick. And then here's the EX version of this. I really wish he did a fourth run there at the end, or maybe even a fifth run. That super is so long. And Clark's Climax super is not a command grab, it's a hit. And it can also grab opponents in certain juggle states and specific types of combos. Regardless, this is what it looks like. If you wanted to cancel a super into another super, the best way to go about it is going from the kick super to the punch super. So for this, you're canceling right when Clark slams them. And when he slams on the ground, you're inputting the second super the opposite direction. If you're canceling into the Climax super from a super, you want to go from the kick super into the Climax super. And it'll look like that. Basically, you cancel when he slams the opponent again on the ground, and then you're inputting the super in the opposite direction, or the Climax rather. I just wanted to show you how long that is if you go from EX run super into Climax. Here's some quick combos to get you started with. From up close, either close heavy punch, the first hit of it, and then just mash. That's pretty safe. A little bit more of a commitment is if you go into command grab. I mean, that'll combo, but if they block, then you'll just whiff command grab in their face. You can also try doing the run from that as well, but that's really negative on block. If they happen to block that, it's easy to punish. For whatever reason, you already have like a back charge. Like you jump in, you're holding back. You know, you can do that. It's pretty easy. From crouching, I would use his charge attack. So something like this. It's pretty simple to do. You're already holding down back during that sequence, that crouching light kick, crouching light punch into that special move. Since you're already holding down back, you just hit forward and light punch at the end, and you get that special move. You also do something like that. That was just one crouching light kick to open them up below, and then I went into standing, close light punch, into command grab. You also do that, it's pretty simple as well. And of course, review the special move section to see how you can convert some of these special moves into more damage. Alright everyone, thanks for watching the Clark beginner breakdown video. Team Ikari Warriors is in the bag. Thanks to all the recent subscribers. Last time I checked, I haven't checked in maybe like a week, but it was close to 100 subscribers. That's pretty cool. It's not hella, but that's more than I expected when I started doing this series when this game came out last year. Yeah, thanks to shortyukin.com for posting my videos. I think I've gotten a post maybe like 3 or 4 times at this point. That's pretty cool. I always get a small handful of subscribers when that happens, so that's pretty sweet. And as always, let's go to member select. Thanks for watching the Clark beginner breakdown video. Don't know where I'll bounce from here. Guess you'll find out who that is next episode. And I'll see you then.